Amber Tamm is. Amber Tamm is a vessel that is mainly here to figure out what community needs.
On Sunday night, Kevin Canty was arraigned in a Queens courtroom on a murder charge. And just 2 years ago, he was a police officer, praised for helping save a man having a heart attack. He was arrested Saturday for allegedly shooting his wife, Jessica, 10 times in front of their 2 young children.
Once it was declared, my brother called me back from the private investigator and was like, she's dead. I thought in my head I would scream. But in reality, I was actually very calm, and I think that's because of the love she was pouring on me the day before. Then it all made sense. In our first apartment, the first one I can remember, we lived in an attic apartment in Queens, and there was a skylight, and I vividly remember this surrounding the skylight. My mom had painted the whole ceiling to look like a blue, cloudy day, and around the skylight was plants. So she always had plants hanging down. She's the one that originally told me to talk to plants. That was my mom. That was her seed. Six months into my first year in college, first year away from home, first year out of New York City, that's when my father murdered my mom, and I had to really reassess my whole life. And maybe a year after I lost my parents, once I realized my siblings were literally O and a K, I was like, okay, I need to figure out what's best for me. And I knew that meant I needed housing, I needed shelter, and I needed food. And so that was when I went to Union Square Farmers Market. And in the past, if you went, there's farmers that will have their signs that say, well, we need a farmer, we need an apprentice. And there was one guy, good old Farmer Joe, who had a sign. And I took him up on his offer, and that was when I went to my first farm, which was in upstate New York. That experience was by far, and I would say that was the worst experience I've had on a farm. When we start our farms, it'll be embodying what we are, rather than for me walking into farming, it was still very white. I was missing out on very big Black cultural moments. When it comes to land ownership and farm ownership, that's gonna have to be collective. That's gonna have to look like Black farmers or indigenous farmers not walking into this realm as individuals, but joining each other's projects. Tapping into oh, do you have vacant acres that I can use? If you look up regenerative agriculture, that realm is very white, and there's this very white air to it because you're talking about really beautiful, transformative things that can help the planet, can help the people. But it's still in an extractive way. It doesn't pertain prayer or intention or community that deeply. It's more so about like the science of soil and climate change, etc. Essentially, today's agricultural realm is still very much so like slavery. I think they're so used to taking that they're now taking from Black and Indigenous folks the same way they've been taking from the earth. It's an extractive energy they take without intention of giving back. But this is the first time they have to think very deeply about how they're going to give back. I think land is the foundation for any type of liberation for Black folks. And that comes from lived experience. Like losing my parents and not having a place to live was treacherous. Even if it would have been an abandoned house, for the sake of restoration after going through so much trauma, would have been helpful. It's good to help places that are new to me and new communities. But the ultimate goal in my heart, I don't think it's my ultimate goal ancestrally. Like I think the ancestors are definitely telling me to go in a different path, but in the flesh, the ultimate goal would be to grow Fort Brooklyn because it's where I'm from.